The inspiration for this week's fun project are these fun Chinese takeout containers and the newest varieties from Eufloria flowers. It's an interesting and fun dinner table setting, complete with adorable party favors. So let's get started with today's project. The other day I was in the store and I ran across these colorful Chinese takeout containers. That was the inspiration for our project today. It's a cardboard container. It didn't come with a liner, but that's not a problem. We can create a liner for just about any container. I'm using a little bit of artesia and a piece of Celicoue from the John Henry Company. By trimming our artesia foam to fit the size of the container and wrapping the exterior with the Celicoue, we can create a waterproof container that'll fit down inside a cardboard box. Let me show you how I did it. Taking a piece of artesia and determining how it's going to fit inside the container is important. We're going to bevel both sides that way it'll slip down inside here easily. You'll notice with this one that I wanted the level of the foam to be deeper inside the container itself, about a ½ inch down inside. That way I won't be seeing it and it won't make my flowers stick out too far. So we need to trim off about 1 inch or so off the bottom. That looks like it's going to be perfect. We'll take our Celicoue and measure with our artesia foam, just like we were wrapping a Christmas box. Because the Celicoue is thicker and it's a little more durable, it's going to be a great waterproof liner for us. Just use a little bit of Scotch tape and pleat it like I would a gift. I want to make sure that I'm always bringing the edges up towards the top so that I don't have a place at the bottom the water can slip out. Take my scissors and just even up the Celicoue. And then presto, our instant liner. And it drops down inside our cardboard container. Because we're using these for a special event, we don't have to worry about a big reservoir for extra water. We just want to be able to make sure the water doesn't seep out and ruin the container. So now we're ready to create our first 2 centerpieces. Because the color fascinated me, and that was the reason that I chose these containers, I want to theme it accordingly with the flowers I've selected. I'm choosing Eufloria flowers today, not only because they're the prettiest roses on the planet, but also because they come in the color range that I want. We'll start with Milva and Cherry Brandy. Milva's an award-winning rose. I also want to tell you a little bit more about Eufloria flowers and why their roses are the best roses that you can get. The reason you want to demand Eufloria every time is because of the incredible foliage, the performance of the rose itself, the stem length, the quality that you're ensured every time with Eufloria flowers. They travel to you in water, and they're the prettiest roses on the planet. So for our orange container, we use some of the Cherry Brandy. I love how there's 2 colorations on the outside. So we've got that wonderful rose color, and on the inside, a great amber golden color. We're going to put 3 of these in a row inside our takeout container. Now you'll notice that I'm having those sit up above the surface a little bit. I also need something to go along the side. That's where we can use a bit of hypericum. I'm going to use the contrasting green color because we have the green and orange containers. So we use green and orange in both of our centerpieces. I'm going to turn this one rose head back around. So they all line up nice and straight. It reminds me a little bit of sushi too, just the way that we're going to line these up. This is definitely an Asian-inspired centerpiece, so we can cross a few lines. So a little of the orange hypericum now in the center. When we're dealing with a small container, it gives us the opportunity to line things up and create more detail in the design. Use the Milva on the other side. Picking a couple of the ones that are not quite as open so that they'll fit closer together. It's no wonder that Milva was a Triple Crown winner. Just looking at how exquisite those roses are and the performance of each one of those heads. Now for our green one. We'll start with a row of green pom-poms. Selecting the heads so that they're all the same size. We're tucking them down in close so that we don't see our foam down below. When we put in our next set of flowers, we'll be able to scoot those over just a little bit. We'll use super green. Green roses are so popular. Last year, when I traveled to Horty Fair with Eufloria to help select their new varieties, we specifically looked for a new green rose, and we have an incredible one coming called Green Tea. That would be an incredible rose to use in this Asian-inspired centerpiece. The plants are really small right now, and they're getting ready, so we'll have Green Tea available from Eufloria any day now. One of the fascinating things about Eufloria is that they go and select roses each year, picking boutique colors and new varieties that perform and open. In today's market, it really is a struggle to find roses that perform like this. We love the memory of the roses that grew in our grandmother's garden. That's what Eufloria delivers. A rose that's grown and bred and hybridized for you that performs. So we'll put one more cherry brandy off to this side to give it a little bit of an asymmetrical look. We'll fill in with some hypericum. Now, each of our containers has their own individual look. It's a little more charming when they're different and not exactly the same. My 4 smaller containers are for party favors. And it's perfect for me to use one single Eufloria blossom in each one. They fit perfectly into those containers. We'll tuck just a piece of hypericum off to the side. We use both types of hypericum. That adds continuity and unity to the entire project. Let's add a detail to these pom-poms with an orange pinhead. We'll insert these directly into the center of each one of the green pom-poms. That's a fun detail that's unexpected. Now, we'll use a few color sticks from the Coe Pick Company as chopsticks in our container. Orange ones, and we'll put green ones in our other container. Remember the creative factor. You can make these all one color, you can mix and match colors, you can be as creative as you want with the ideas you learn here at JTV. I'm also going to use a couple of acolytes to add just a little bit more color. This is the new Floralite 2, which actually has an on-off switch. Tucking that little green light down inside our centerpiece is going to allow for some extra illumination. Since this is a nighttime party, I'll have the lights turned down low. This will be even more zen-like. These come in all colors, so I, of course, chose the orange and the green. I've taken the hanging string off of the back of the ones that I'm placing into the centerpieces, but I want to tuck a few in our individual take-homes. So for those, I'll leave the necklace on. That way, if the guests want to wear them home, they can. Those will be fun accessories and add a little bit of extra romantic light to the evening. So now I want to do something extra special on the table itself. We could just set these out on the table, but at JTV, we always go the extra mile to make it more novel and themed. Because our project is Zen-inspired, we'll use some of the new decorative stones from W.J. Coe. We're lining up our stones, just like a Zen garden. Choose to use a few of the votives from Acolyte on our table decoration. Using colored sand and gravel creates a different interest in texture. It also allows a great base for us to use something like our Kermit pom-poms studded in the center with some of the new decorative pins from Lomi. We take the long pin, insert it right into the center, and place it into some foam and cut it off flush. The foam prevents the pin from flying anywhere after we cut it off with our Nip-X, so we can dispose of them properly. And you know, I've chosen JTV colors, but you could choose pinks or blues, because the great Koei designer stones come in all different colors. Next week, we have an entire webisode about the WJ Koei Sticks and Stones products. You won't want to miss that. I placed the dark green stones at each end so that it gives it a finished look. It's looking great. It's an interesting centerpiece and focal area for our table. Our party favors are going to go on either side. I learned the next part of this trick from my friend Joe Smith in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll use a glass shelf and set it on top of our tablescape. And it becomes the holder for our great Zen centerpieces. Today, we learned how to take any object and make it suitable for an arrangement by adding a liner and artesia foam. We learned about Eufloria and how they offer new varieties every year. They're handpicked by the experts, including me, for color, growth stability, opening quality, scent, performance. That's important. These hand-grown roses are hand-picked, travel to you in water, and truly are the prettiest roses on the planet. For your next project, demand Eufloria. Why would you settle for anything less than the prettiest roses on the planet? This week, our special thanks go out to Koei Woodpick for the decorative stones, and to Eufloria Flowers for their dedication to excellence. Quality, consistency, performance. Surrender to Eufloria Roses. Until next week, keep having fun with flowers.